Hey everyone, it's Amanda. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. It's nice to meet you. Today we are going to be diving into how to build your brand in a way that is both simple and inexpensive. When you're building your real estate brand, it's really important when you're just starting out to keep it simple. That is my number one tip. It does not have to be complicated with building and developing a logo. You don't need to hire a graphic designer. You don't need to do a bunch of research on colors. You can really overcomplicate this, and I feel like in real estate, we have a way of doing that. Keep it simple. You don't even have to have a logo if you're just not there yet and not sure what you want. Number two, be memorable. What do I mean by that? So as you all know, if you scroll Instagram or Facebook or any social platform, you'll see thousands of agents posting just listed, just sold, blah, blah, blah. It's so boring and it's so generic. Nobody really cares that you just listed that house unless they're interested in buying it. But your followers and your supporters probably really don't care about it. So instead of saying just listed and giving the stats of the house, why not say just listed, stats of the house, and then tell a story? Maybe this house just had a fantastic kitchen remodel and you could do a poll on Instagram saying, would you rather buy a house that has a brand new kitchen or an old ugly kitchen? Give people something to relate with. And that's where it comes in of being memorable, because you're not just, an orange in a sea of oranges. You want to actually stand out and give them something to remember you by. Number three is thinking about what you love as a person. What are you passionate about? What are your hobbies? What do you do throughout the day? Maybe you're a full-time mom and you're always taking care of your kids. Or maybe you are just always on the go, going out to eat, visiting different places. Think about who you are as a person and jot a few things down, because those are what you want to base your brand around. That's your foundation for your brand. Number four, I know some of you are going to come back to me and say, I'm really just not a memorable person. There's nothing special about me. And I can't think of anything. There's nothing that I really do or am into. There is, you're just not thinking of it. But a really easy way to overcome that is to reach out to people you're close with, your family, your friends, past clients are a great resource, and ask them what impression they had of you before they worked with you, or if they're close friends, ask them what impression they had of you before they really got to know you. All of us create an impression, particularly online these days. If you're watching this video, you probably already had an impression of me within the first 3 to 5 seconds. If you didn't like it, you're probably not watching anymore anyways, and that's okay. That's how we create our space and our people to love on, because they get to know us. So if you can't think of anything, reach out to others, take a poll, and you will absolutely get ideas from them on what to incorporate into your brand. Number five is taking those items that you wrote down or that people shared with you and incorporating those into your brand. So you want to show, if I'll use myself as an example, I love dogs. Dogs are a part of my brand. For the most part, my own dogs, 2 French bulldogs, they show up everywhere because they're with me anyways. So another example would be, maybe you love to cook and you're an amazing chef. When you're making these meals, you want to share that on your social, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, or you could even make tutorials. Your brand is who you are. It's not some facade that you put out there and are cultivating. You want to authentically show up. And the important part of pulling the items that you listed that you're passionate about or that you love or your hobbies is you will be able to show up way more consistently when you're showing up as yourself. If you drive around on the weekends and like to look at houses just for fun, then show that. Whatever you're doing in your daily life is what you want to show up as online. It's who you are. Number 6, consistency. When you're building a brand, or even if you have an established brand that you're just nurturing at this point, you have got to consistently show up. And that's why it's so important when you are selecting and thinking about who you are as a person, you've got to pick items that are authentically you, because that is going to allow you to consistently show up on a daily basis for your audience and share what you're up to. If you're cultivating ideas that really aren't who you are, it's going to be extremely difficult to be consistent. So you need to be able to show people what you're doing on a daily basis. And of course, real estate is incorporated into that, but it also needs to just be who you are as a person. And when you consistently show up, what happens over time is your audience connects you to what you shared without even seeing something that you're putting out there. An example, I have friends and clients regularly who send me a post of a French bulldog, a meme of a French bulldog, anything dog related. They know that I'm like #1 dog fan, dog mom, all things dogs. So even if I'm not putting something out there every single day, they connect that as something that I relate to and that I like. So in return, I'm getting into their heads as far as branding goes in a good way of they know that that's what Amanda is about, even when they're not seeing it constantly. There's a difference between consistency and constant. Like, I personally am not going to post 15 stories a day on Instagram. Yes, that probably would work great, but I'm not that exciting of a person, and it would just be the same thing over and over again. So while I'm consistent and show up darn near on a daily basis, it's not just nonstop in their faces. Number 7, write down what you believe about your brand. And this should not be a 30-minute exercise. This should be maybe a 5-minute exercise, because it's really, you want to write down what comes to the top of your head just like that. Don't overthink it. Just write down what your brand is about. Like, for me, integrity is huge, loyalty is huge, and freedom is huge. All of those are a part of my brand. Just think about what your brand stands for. And if you aren't to the stage where you can relate your brand to some type of feelings, think about what you as a person stand for and what's important to you, and then use that to incorporate and build your brand. Number 8, last one, don't force it. Brands are not created overnight. They never will be. Doesn't matter if it's real estate or another industry. Brands take time and they evolve. So if you feel like you're forcing something, put it to the side, come back to it later, and just let it happen over time. My brand has evolved over the years. I've had probably 5 different logos at this point. And that's simply because at the time, that's who I was, but things change over time. The logo is still the same company name, but it's just evolved. And as far as like our mission statement and values, those have evolved and become more specific over the years as I've grown as a person and learned more about what I want to put out and how I want to help others. So bottom line, just don't force it. This is not going to happen overnight, and it's always going to be evolving, and that's okay. Just continue to show up, be genuine in who you are, and sharing with the public who you are, and your brand will take shape. It's something that you're going to constantly have to work on and sort of have your finger on the pulse. And from there, you will see it start to take shape and evolve as the years go along. I hope you found these tips for creating your brand not only helpful, but simple and easy to implement. Take it one step at a time. Don't get overwhelmed. It does not have to be a complicated process. And again, I hope you found this useful. If you did, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button.